All right, here we go. We have finally reached the last chapter of part one. And, this is the moment where all that dense philosophy we've been wading through, well, it stops being theoretical. It becomes a literal, absolutely terrifying weapon. We're not just talking about a battle here. This is the violent application of an idea. And this quote just sets the stage perfectly, doesn't it? You've got these Viking trackers, they're hungry for gold, and they think they've got their guy cornered. But the irony here is just crushing. They think they're walking into a simple ambush of swords and spears. What they don't get is that they've just walked into a trap made of perception itself. So let's paint the picture. You're in a meadow, the grass is long and high. A group of very determined Viking trackers, driven by what the story calls the hunger of the herd, are closing in on de Gringoldnar. They can see that golden half of him glimmering through the grass, and they think the prize is right there. But the jester, he's just standing there, waiting. This right here is the heart of the entire misunderstanding. The warriors, they see a divisible self. A physical guy, a body they can break, a prize they can take. But the jester, he's playing a completely different game. He is an absolute-ish, an absolute self, a force that's become one with the world around him. They think they're hunting a man, but they're about to pick a fight with a law of nature. And then the tension just snaps. The first move is made. A warrior launches a spear, a clean, perfect, deadly shot, aimed right for the jester's chest. This is it, the moment of truth. Can this weird philosophical power actually stand up to pure, brute force? And this is where it gets bizarre. The spear flies true and just passes right through him, like he's a ghost. It thuds into the mud on the other side. So, what in the world just happened? Well, the answer isn't magic, not in the way you'd think. It's philosophy. It's the jester taking his entire worldview and putting it into terrifying, literal practice. So it all comes down to this thing called Fichte's second principle. To put it simply, the I, that's the self, gets to define what is not I, which is, everything else, the world outside. The jester just takes that idea to its most insane conclusion. He doesn't dodge the spear. He, as the absolute I, literally commands the not I, the air, the space he occupies, to reject the spear. And reality, it just obeys him. And the effect of this is incredible. He becomes what the text calls a void mirror. Every single attack they throw at him is just reflected back as completely and utterly pointless. It's like they're trying to punch a ghost. Their violence has no target, no reality to actually impact. So after proving he can't be touched, the jester flips the script. The trackers suddenly realize their problem isn't just that they're fighting a man who can't be hit. Oh no. Now they're fighting the entire meadow. The very ground they're standing on has just become the enemy. And the assault begins. The grass itself seems to grab at their legs. The solid ground beneath their feet turns into a sucking bog. This glorious hunt of theirs just dissolves into a clumsy, desperate mess. And all the while, they can hear the jester's active laughter. And that laughter isn't just him mocking them. It's the very force that's ripping away their illusion of control, revealing just how powerless they truly are. Which brings us to the absolute climax of this whole confrontation. His men are trapped, they're floundering, and so the captain makes one last, desperate lunge for the only thing that matters, the prize. He just barrels forward, ignoring the chaos around him. All he can see is that shimmering, golden half of the jester. He reaches out, ready to finally grab the heavy, solid gold that he's risked everything for. And then, the punchline to this whole terrifying joke finally lands. His hands close around, not cold, hard metal, but the splintered, rotting bark of a tree. The gold was never there. It was all an illusion. This right here is Fichte's third principle in action, the synthesis. The jester has so totally merged his I with the not I that the line between himself and the world has just vanished. Was the gold ever real? Was the tree always a part of him? It doesn't even matter. At this point, he is the meadow. He is the tree. He is the reality of this place. And that is the ultimate defeat for these warriors. It wasn't about being outfought or outmaneuvered. Their entire concept of strength, of physical power, was just taken apart piece by piece. Their swords and spears meant nothing against a man who could literally rewrite the rules of the world they were fighting in. So, the fight is over.
where does that leave us? This confrontation wasn't just an ending. It was a final exam, a synthesis of power that gives our jester a brand new, much bigger purpose. And maybe the most telling detail of all is the body count. It's 0. Even though the chapter is called The Synthesis of the Slaughter, the jester didn't actually kill a single one of them. He didn't have to. He left them defeated, broken, but alive. They aren't corpses, they're witnesses, forced to go back and tell the story of their own absolute failure.
And this lays out his journey so far so clearly. He has systematically deconstructed the pillars of their society. First, the merchant and the illusion of value, then the judge and the illusion of law, and now the warrior and the illusion of strength. So, what's left to tear down? Only the biggest illusion of them all.
The prologue is officially over, and the jester has a new name, the Willinar, which means the willful. He's not just some weirdo in a forgotten valley anymore. He is now a pure force of will, ready to walk out of that meadow and straight into the courts of kings to take on his final target, the heroic ideal itself. And this leaves us with the big, provocative question this whole chapter is really asking. What is true strength? Is it the power to conquer other people and take their stuff? Or is it the ultimate power to define the very reality that you live in? Definitely something to think about as we close the book on Part 1.